Ok, farò una breve introduzione in italiano. Intanto vi volevo informare che il webinar sarà registrato, quindi chi di voi non vuole comparire in video può spengere la telecamera, così per motivi anche di privacy. Allora, è un vero piacere dare il benvenuto a tutti voi. Io sono la direttrice dell'ufficio ICE di Stoccolma, sono Nadia Svaluto Morevolo e insieme a me ci sono le colleghe Lara Jank che si occupa della subfornitura qui presso l'ufficio di Stoccolma, Sara Di Baggio che si occupa della meccanica. Ci sono inoltre anche Hans Wigard che è l'amministratore delegato di Qimtek e Johan Skolberg, Head of Media di Qimtek. E come abbiamo scritto nell'invito, Qimtek è il marketplace di riferimento della meccanica sul mercato svedese ed è una piattaforma di matching nata proprio per favorire l'incontro tra domande e offerte di prodotti della meccanica sul mercato svedese ed includerà a breve un'area dedicata proprio all'Italia. La realizzazione di questo cluster italiano consentirà alle imprese italiane interessate ad entrare nel mercato svedese di rafforzare la propria presenza se sono già presenti sul mercato svedese oppure di entrare in contatto con nuovi potenziali clienti. La registrazione sarà gratuita per le aziende che decideranno di aderire. Allora, questo webinar è stato organizzato dall'Ufficio di Stoccolma, naturalmente in collaborazione con Qimtek, proprio allo scopo di presentare di presentarvi la piattaforma, di presentare di illustrarvi il suo funzionamento ed Hans a breve ve lo illustrerà tranquillamente. A questo incontro ne seguirà un altro il 23 ottobre, destinato invece alle aziende svedesi, a cui verrà illustrato invece questo cluster italiano. Ricordo l'importanza del mercato svedese per la subfornitura e per la meccanica italiana, perché le aziende italiane godono di una reputazione molto alta in termini di affidabilità, ma anche di qualità del prodotto. E inoltre, una cosa a cui tengo a ricordare è che nel mese di novembre si svolge una fiera molto importante della subfornitura proprio nel distretto di Jönköping, diciamo verso il sud della Svezia, l'Elmia Subcontractor, a cui l'ICE partecipa tradizionalmente da tantissimi anni con una collettiva italiana. Quest'anno saremo presenti con una collettiva in cui porteremo 14 aziende italiane. Al termine della presentazione di parte di Hans seguirà una sessione di domande e risposte a cui insomma si cercherà di dare un riscontro, ma comunque l'ufficio di Stoccolma è sempre a disposizione per qualsiasi necessità di chiarimento, di approfondimento. La nostra mail la conoscete, stoccolma@ice.it, siamo insomma sempre a disposizione. Quindi lascio la parola ora ad Hans. Mi auguro diciamo di vedere la vostra partecipazione a questo cluster da parte insomma, di un numero importante da parte vostra, insomma, per popolare questo cluster italiano all'interno all'interno della piattaforma di Qimtek. So I give the floor to Hans for this presentation. Thank you. Grazie per l'attenzione.
Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you very much, Nadia. Qimtek, I'm the CEO of Qimtek, as Nadia said, and Johan here is my partner in crime, who heads the media section. And we have two platforms. One is Qimtek, and that's a marketplace for manufactured components. And then we have also Svensk Verkstad, which is an online magazine where we report on everything that's happening specifically for the manufacturing industry. Very focused, probably the largest online magazine just for the manufacturing industry here in Sweden. So today we're going to show a bit. I'm going to go through relatively quickly just Qimtek and the cluster and what opportunities there are in Qimtek, so you can see if there's something that could be of interest for you. So I'm going to share my screen here, and hopefully you can see my screen. Can you all see it?
Yes.
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 So if you have any questions, you can jump in, and you can probably the best thing is to write in the chat, because then Sarah can pick up the questions, and she can interrupt me and explain things more in detail. So, but Qimtek is basically it's a cluster, or it's a catalog of controlled suppliers. So we check all the suppliers that are in our network. We cover the Nordic countries, but I would say the majority of the companies are Swedish companies. We do also have some companies in the Baltic countries and in Poland, and also a few companies from Italy. So this catalog is the basis of how we work with our buyers. So we have buyers from everything from Saab, aerospace, to manufacturing, automotive. So Volvo is using it, and ABB, Sandvik, all the larger companies, but also sort of medium-sized companies and even smaller companies.
Yes.
Are using Qimtek. And what they do is they post their request for quotes, and you can see here the request for quotes coming in here. It's a wide variety of machining and fabrication and plastics, electronics, and all sorts of different types of manufacturing. And then we also promote all the suppliers that are in the network. So we do news, and with the help of our media department,
Yes.
that helps us to promote the companies in the network. So we have 4 suppliers. We have the membership, and here you can see as an example of buyers who are using this system. And I think there are about somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 buyers that are using the system today. So they post RFQs. That's one of the key things. And from a supplier point of view, you can then set up a search for the different RFQs that are interesting for you. And you can also make your companies visible by creating a profile, but also by posting information about services that you supply. So the cluster that we're working with, the Italian Trade Agency, is a cluster to be able to sort of promote specifically Italian companies. And from Swedish buyers' point of view, it's we try to promote obviously Swedish companies, but when Swedish companies can't compete or don't have the capacity, then we want to go out in Europe to try to find suppliers. We don't want to go to the Far East or anywhere else. We want to try to keep Qimtek within Europe, because I think it's Europe against the world, and not European companies against each other. But so I think it's important that we don't bring in Far East companies in this network. But for Swedish companies, it's very valuable to see what Italian companies are, what they can do, what capacity they have. So then we've created this together with Italian Trade Agency, an Italian cluster. So these are specifically companies that are from Italian and Italian capacity. So we have done a search for just that cluster. So we already have a few companies that have registered, and we are going to promote this both in our sort of news channels, and also we are holding a specific webinar with Swedish buyers, which is, can we
week
remember?
43.
Sorry, say again.
In week 43, we'll have the first one.
Yeah, which is in
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. So it's very so the sooner you will register, you will also be shown in the first webinars for the buyers. So please sign up as fast as possible for this cluster. And this signing up for this cluster is free of charge. It doesn't cost anything. We'll mention another the premium service that we have also, but we'll inform you about that a little later on here.
So I'm actually doing so this is all companies like Johan said is registered here for free, which is part of the Italian cluster. But then you also have the opportunity to go in and specifically look for RFQs that are coming in here daily from Swedish buyers. And that is our premium service, which we also have a big discount for Italian suppliers through the Italian Trade Agency. So if you're interested in that part to actually have a look at a proper RFQs, then you get an account. So and the account you then get a login here. You can actually register here, sign up for free to just get your account started. But then when you get your account upgraded, you can then have let's have a look here. You can then receive RFQs here. So here we have RFQs coming in. And just so you know, you can switch between English and Swedish here. So if you press there, it says English, and then you come into the English version here. So some of these RFQs are in English and some of them are in Swedish, but the system will be in English. So here you see a power arm. We need this power arm to be manufactured. So that's someone has entered that information in English. And this one here is, if we look at this, here they have the description in Swedish, so you will have to do a translate on that. But just to show you what these RFQs, what they look like, I'll show you a sample here. So if I go down here and do, if we look at this one, so here is just a test. So firstly, you get the details about the RFQ here, all the details here, the description. You will also get a reply date and when they want the delivery. You can also sometimes you get an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, in case there are some sort of sensitive information in the drawing. So you can sign here online for this. I mean, for example, now the defense industry in Sweden is becoming a bit more sensitive. So for that, we don't even get the drawings here. You just get an invitation through Qimtek. But say, for example, if it's a manufacturing part that's a bit sensitive, then they can put an NDA here. But here you get the drawings and either sort of a PDF or you get the proper CAD drawings for it. You can answer here if you're interested or not, and that's just so. Say, for example, if you're going to quote on it and you want to just quickly answer that you're interested, then you can click yes or no or maybe, and you can write your reason here just to let the buyer know that this is something that you're interested in. Then you just submit your interest. And that puts you on top of the pile of all the suppliers in the list. And it also gives an idea to the buyer that you are interested. It also means that you can start chatting with the buyer. So, for example, if you here you get all the buyer details, the company name, and normally website address and so on. And then you also got the contact details of the buyers. So that's a good thing with Qimtek, is that it's very open. It's not sort of like a closed bid, or like that we hide any details. You have full details about the buyers. And here you can send messages to the buyers. You can start a chat about the project. So if there are any questions you have about it, or that you want to tell that you're coming in with a quote, or anything really. So, and here you got the quote details. So not all the projects will have quote details. It depends on how the buyer set it up, but it's coming more and more. Sometimes it's what we call an RFI, that they just want to help with something, and they may not have drawings. Then you can't quote on it. And sometimes it's like this, that you can actually quote on it. So here you can put in, they put in some requirements. Now here it's in Swedish, so you'll have to translate a bit of it, but it also is so that you can confirm that you have ISO 9000, for example. And that gives the details to the buyer straight away, that you can fulfill all the requirements. That's great. That's the first step. And then you could put in the price here for the components. You can also upload your own quote here, in case you have a PDF with the quotes and you want to do a slightly nicer presentation of your quote. And then you send in the quotation here. And you can actually send in more than one. So if you want to have a chat with the buyer and then you want to review it because you got some new information, then you can send in a new quote. So you can send in as many quotes as you want, and the system will keep track of which version you have sent in. It will be just 1, 2, 3 different versions. So if you look at Qimtek, it's a way of communicating, but it will not help you in selling your own company. So you have to build up your relationship with the buyer, and prove also your advantage with your company and things like that, so that you don't just rely on just quoting on things and then hope that you will get the order, because the majority of the buyers are looking for companies that they feel confident about, that they want to work with. If they want to work with you, it's a much better chance of winning the work than if you just try to quote and be the cheapest. We don't see that as the best success factor. We see the best success factor is someone who actually trust you.
Yeah, and just to fill in there, we recently did a survey that we do every year, and what the buyers think and find the most interesting now is quality is very, very high up on their preference. So relationships and quality, and of course price is also in there, but the quality is something that really stuck out, and was something that we can emphasize strongly. So okay,
yeah, very good point. So and then I just add a last thing that you can use is, say for example, if you have a specific product, or you have a specific skill or a new machine or something, you can actually post your news about your service or your product. So it's a way also to be able to push your company on Qimtek. So it's not just about sort of passively waiting for quotes to come in or requests for quotes to come in. You can actually be quite active and promote your company. Saying that, obviously using Italian will not work that well when you're writing your posts. So English works quite well, but we see our response rates, it's much better to use Swedish. So maybe you can get some help in writing few things in Swedish. That would be.
But English is it's on Qimtek. I think it's fine. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Buyers are so used to the English language, so
yeah. So I have.
Yes.
That's the main thing I would like to present. I think we have a very good offer that the Italian Trade Agency has managed to work out for you.
Yeah.
So I think it's today it costs 2,450 euros to be a year on Qimtek. And now, Johan, it is.
Yes, it's now we have the cluster to join the cluster. Just to emphasize that's free of charge. That's something we have a cooperation with the Italian Trade Agency, and then we have for a special price for Italian suppliers, which is introduction price for you, which is only 475 euros for the year. So it's very, very high discount on this, because we don't want this to be initially an expensive product for you, knowing that you're from another country and you don't really know what this will, end up being for you helpful. If you do this, it's going to be very helpful for companies who work with this system. We know that for a fact, but we really want to have this cheap price for you, so you can investigate it, and so it's not a big issue, the price. It's more of if you want to be involved. So 475 euros is the price now that we have for you Italian companies to join with the premium membership. Any questions on this topic? You can write in the chat or just open up your microphone and just say it either way.
I have a question. If I join the cluster, can I still operate in Qimtek? I mean, or is it just a membership without the possibility of using the system?
You want to explain this, Hans?
Yeah, so if I understand you correctly, Luca, it's if you join the free network, it is free. It's like our base service, so that you will come up as in the cluster and you have your contact details and so on. And if you then decide that you want to upgrade to this 475 euro premium service, then you can start receiving RFQs and working with the buyers. So it's like two levels, either free, and it's the same. It's part of the same system. So even with this free service, you can log in and using Qimtek and change your profile, write about yourself and so on. But you can't use the services of receiving RFQs or posting news about yourself.
Okay,
does it explain?
Essentially, Luca, is that we will promote the Italian cluster for the buyers, but then we promote the entire cluster, the possibility of working with Italian companies. That's what we do with the Italian Trade Agency on an individual platform. I mean, on agenda. Then you would have to have the premium in order to promote your own company and get individual offers and RFQs to you. But we will of course push for the Italian cluster, but then as a cluster. So you want to can you explain this quickly in Italian, Nadia, maybe, if someone is not
or shall we take Lucia's question first here?
Okay, sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Thank you for the opportunity. The platform is really interesting for our metal and mechanical district here in Lecco and Como.